interested in developing my personal brand. So I basically more or less have like a holistic understanding of the book in terms of what are the methodologies that I could incorporate to be able to improve my business, develop my personal brand, and then basically get towards some of the goals that I was looking to do in terms of speaking engagements, in terms of bringing my business to a level where it was more recognizable in the community and within the United States, and also be a consultant to other businesses and dental offices. And so when I read the book, I realized pretty much developing your personal brand and taking the examples of, you know, basically what he showed in the book and trying to incorporate it into my own business would help me get to my end point. So what we ended up doing is developing a series on Snapchat called The Office, which is basically similar to the show itself, but instead of those characters, we used our office team members as characters and basically developed a comedy surrounding like typical things that happen in a dental office. Another thing that we did is we are using Musical.ly and doing lip sync videos as a team and as myself in terms of incorporating music and then developing our personal brand that way. So we just found using social media to develop our personal brand was a great message from the book Crush It, and then we ended up incorporating it into The Office to get us to the point that we're at now. I actually think that I'm proficient at Musical.ly. So it's a lip syncing app. A lot of people don't know about it. It's really a demographic that's younger. So younger kids are on there and some business people, but not very many. And you basically do 15-second videos to different music that's out. And you can incorporate it in different ways in terms of you can use it as background music as you're playing basketball, or you could lip sync, or you could do comedy. There's so many different things that you could do with it. I think it's helped me because I've been able to push it to Instagram. So then I get also an older demographic by doing that. And I think that it's been more of a gateway to who I am. So obviously I'm a dentist first, but this is something that kind of gives people an understanding of who I am as a person, that I could be possibly interesting in terms of being funny or have something interesting to say. And once you kind of get to know the person and you like the person, then you can start to look at what they do, you know, what they're proficient at in terms of their actual work. Another thing that I think I'm trying to do well is, you know, Insta stories and Snapchat. Originally, before it got extremely crazy busy as it is now, I was doing a regular series on Snapchat and it was going really well. The feedback I was getting was really well in terms of the show that I was doing, The Office. I did another show that was based on the theme of Charlie's Angels, where we had people in our office who were actors in that. And I got a lot of feedback where people were missing it and they wanted to learn more about The Office. So by doing that medium, people were finding out about the procedures we offered. They were learning about the braces and how we did it, but they were also getting entertained. So in that sense, a lot of people really grew to like those two platforms that we were doing well. And to answer your other question, I do think it's important to do as many platforms as you feel comfortable with. That's my own opinion. I don't think that if you don't feel comfortable writing, I don't know necessarily that Medium is the best place for you to be. If you're not comfortable speaking in front of other people, maybe creating your own content and showing yourself may not be the right thing. But at the end of the day, I think you have to realize maybe what your goal is. I mean, I'm not on all of the platforms that well, but I think the ones that are emerging are the ones that are kind of critical to be on. For instance, I was probably one of the few people that was on Musical.ly. That's how I kind of blew up on Musical.ly. It's not necessarily that, you know, I may be the best on Musical.ly. It's just underpriced attention, like Gary would say. So I was one of the few people on there. And I think if you can take advantage of those type of opportunities when an app comes out, I think you end up ahead. I'm really looking at a Facebook Watch right now. So I think that it's just, I see it's emerging and there's a lot of people with unique interests that you really don't ever see anywhere else that are going to Facebook Watch. So that's something that I've been interested in. And I'm trying to do more with Anchor. So I'm interested in dabbling more into podcasts. I haven't been consistent with it, But I mean, that kind of goes back to Miguel's original question before. I really want to do all the different platforms as much as possible because I have different interests and my end game is in different areas. So for me, I'm trying to look at all the emerging ones that are more popular. So I never really reached out to anybody. I will say that I've done giveaways on my Instagram site just to develop rapport and to kind of give back. And I think at the end though, like what I was looking to do was just to create and give value to my followers. And I didn't want to ever get into a point where they felt like they were being sold something, or like if they came from some other site that, you know, I was trying to influence them to, you know, in a non-ingenuous way. Like, I just think that was really important to me. So I'm still in the place right now where I'm just really branding on Instagram and Musical.ly and doing it more to give value to people. And I'm taking the patience with that and see how far I can go with that. Only recently did I start working with a few influencers for this event. I did that, and also for, you know, different other speaking engagements, but not related to my business. I think the algorithm for the different platforms have changed so much to the point where it actually works against you if you have fake followers. So it's not something I would ever entertain, but I know that it's not something that you can do it and do it well. I think I've noticed through especially my Instagram account, I've gotten more followers and they're extremely engaged, and like engaging with them and doing everything the right way where you're constantly posting, doing great content, engaging with every person, not just one or two, every person that comes and leaves a comment on your post makes a huge difference in terms of engagement, in terms of the numbers, and you know, it just builds on that. So it's not something that I've ever considered. I just think it would work against you if you try at this point. Maybe before it would have worked, but not now. I did get a couple of reviews on Yelp, and one of them was negative because they thought we were trying to sell them something that they didn't need, and I responded to it, and that person then responded back like, I can't believe you actually responded to this. And then they changed their review because they felt like when they left that I didn't care for some reason. And so by kind of following up with that. So almost any time someone has an issue, we try to make sure, whether it's even in the office, if someone has an issue, I'll personally call them and find out exactly what it was, because I want to make sure it doesn't happen again. And we also make sure to respond to all reviews too. And everyone's trying to do their own photography, videography now, especially the young kids on Musical.ly. Like, they're all about figuring out which lights they need, which camera to buy, and they're all discussing it between each other, like what is the best thing to get. So like those kind of how-to videos would be really interesting. Like if you're trying to make videos or you're trying to do parkour, you know, what is the best way to do it, how to set it up so that you maximize the lighting, that you maximize everything, like for the younger kids at least. And then maybe for the older people, it's more about, you know, capturing those moments with your grandchildren or things that have to do with family, you know, or going on, you know, on traveling expeditions. Like, how do you get the best picture? So I'm a big fan of podcasts. So I listen to Masters of Scale by Reid Hoffman. It's an excellent podcast. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you have a business and you're trying to scale it. Also like Work Life by Adam Grant. He's an amazing person and just always has a lot of information, good information to share. And I also listen to a podcast called Disney Magic by Lee Cockrell. So he talks a lot about how he was, as the executive director of Disney, how he was able to bring customer service to light and try to improve upon morale amongst employees. So he has like a wealth of knowledge and he shares that every week. So those are the people that I listen to as I commute. I don't really listen to anybody aside from Gary Vaynerchuk because I feel like I've gotten to the point where I kind of have figured some stuff out, but it's more about execution at this point. So that's kind of where I am. And also I don't have a lot of time to read, so that's about as much as I've gotten. I also deal with those same issues, and it was part of the reason that I actually hesitated to actually do social media in the beginning, because HIPAA is a big deal, and you also don't want to feel like you're compromising patient information at any point. And actually lots of patients ask to be in my videos now, so it's like kind of difficult. You have to kind of watch all that. I think for me though, I've tried to work around it. And so I try not to do anything staged because I feel like sometimes it comes across inauthentic. So I'll talk about what happened, or I'll do educational videos about dental work that we're doing, or I don't know if you're interested, but we do like entertainment with the team. So like if you guys did, between the psychotherapists, if you did something where you maybe did some content creation around all of you, like let's say, just to give a strange example, like the Real Housewives of Orange County, and it's 7 psychotherapists and their daily life. And it kind of just brings light to all of you and what you're doing without necessarily compromising information of the people that you're working with. But I think if you're trying to bring awareness to the business, it's very much doable, and I'm willing to talk with you further after today if you want, in terms of how you could set it up so that you can include the business and highlight it. Like I wouldn't even take a picture. I barely would like take a selfie. Like I was like, why are people taking pictures of themselves and like see them in the mall? Like what's going on? And then all of a sudden I kind of got over it and slowly like was doing different things, and now I do lip sync videos to all these different people now, and it doesn't make sense how it works, but it kind of evolves by just taking a few steps. And I think I used to be like really perfectionist about everything, and then I realized that I ended up having one post that I told my team, okay, we're gonna do this in 5 minutes, and it got 80,000 views in one day, that I'm like, I'm not gonna be so judgmental anymore, I'm just gonna put it out there. And you'll get those moments that will like propel you forward.